guys, here we have the R34, the Beast Skyline. So we'll be doing a tune tutorial, tune and build for the car actually. So I left it mainly stock. It is still all-wheel drive. Didn't want to change it just to mess with the first car doing all-wheel, and it's absolutely awesome. I won a lot of races using this car. I was gonna say something, and oh, it's an A class. Yeah, A class, all-wheel drive. So let's get right into it. Alright, so let's jump in right into the upgrades here. Yeah, okay. So straight into the conversions here. We have engine swap. I left it as stock. Didn't mess with the engine swap at all. It was already good as a V6. I believe it's already a V6. Didn't really need to do that. I've drivetrain left it stock as well. I did want to mess it with it rear wheel drive, but I mean, either way it's gonna be beast. Alright, so right into the platform and handling. I did go with race brakes. As spring and dampers go, I did go with race. Both rear and front roll bars are race. I did leave the chassis stock, and I went with a street weight reduction. If I went with a full, I wouldn't have had so much engine upgrades in there. Really, roll bars aren't really necessary either. I just wanted to dial them down so like that we don't have to turn those big corners. So that's why I added race in there, just to keep the balance with the roll bars while cornering. So as drivetrain goes, I didn't go with clutch because I drive with manual and clutch. But if you're going with manual or automatic, go ahead and slap a sport or race, up to you. Really don't need it though. Transmission, I did mess with this ratios, so I added a race in there and they came out really good. Drive line, I went with race, and I went with a race differential as well because gotta mess with my deceleration and acceleration. As tire and rims go, I went with a sport tire compound. I added actually a lot of grip to this car. I honestly don't know why, if it's already all wheel, but hey, why not? So for the front, I went with a 275 by 35, and with the rear, I went with a 285 by 35. So a lot of grip there. If you're gonna upgrade this car to an S, which you can use the same exact tune, which I already tested it and it's awesome as well, leave tire compound alone, my recommendation, and just go just full engine, because I already optimized it where it's like really sticky on the ground. It's really grip. As rim style goes, I went with a fix profile 5, my favorite rim styles. What are these? Oh, these. Yeah, so if you're gonna do an S1, like I said, just leave everything alone, as you know, platform and tire compound, tires and rims, and just go all engine. As aero and appearance go, I did go with the Forza bumper and wing. And as the wing goes, I went with a Forza. Rear bumper, I went with a Jun. And side skirts, I went with Jun as well. These last two here, you can go whatever you want, honestly. I just went with those just because I like the brand. So lastly, let's go into the engine. As air filter goes, I went with a race intake. Fuel system, I went with stock. Ignition, I went stock. Exhaust, I went race exhaust. Camshaft, I went with a sport camshaft. Valves, I went with stock valves. Displacement, I went with a street ignition. Street engine block, sorry. Pistons, I went with a sport. Twin turbo, I went with stock. A little bit about twin turbos. You could have added twin turbo if you want just a sport. Race would have done a little bit too much, but you could add sport and just added about a race exhaust, and that's about it. But I didn't want to do that. I don't want to put too much power where you could slide, even though it's all wheel. I keep forgetting. And make it an A class like that. But I wanted, you know, to spread out and vary my upgrades here, so that's why I added a lot more instead of just 2. But if you're gonna do an S class, go ahead and add just a sport and upgrade the rest. That's what I would recommend. Other than that, you go crazy, do what you guys want. As intercooler and oil and cooling, stock as usual. And I went with a stock flywheel. So there's the build. So let's see what we'll get up to here. Oh, so that's, once you're done with all that, should get you an 800 A class with power of a 458 horsepower and about 367 pound of torque. For an A class, that's not too bad. That's actually really good. Like I said, it's a decent car. I won every race, and I do play on Unbeatable, just to let you guys know. So straight into the tune now. As for the paint job goes, it's by Suckbouh and it's called Pulse. I'll have it in the description below, just in case you guys wondering. So as tires go, I went with a 29.0 and rear with a 28.5. Gearings, I went with a 355, 277, so on and so forth. As this goes, this does, you know, your personal preference of whatever you guys feel good enough for your own ratios. But this is what I came up with, and I like it just the way it is. As alignment goes, this was literally almost stock. I did not mess with it at all. For the cambers, they're 0.5s each, so I went with a 0.7 and 0.6 negative. I did just go out with front toe out just by 1, and I left rear stock. I went with a 5.5 angle. As anti-roll bars, I did drop them down a little bit, like I said during the upgrade part. So I dropped them down to 23.12 and an 18.76. Same thing with springs. I think springs not too much, just a little bit, just to, you know, wobble while we're cornering there. So I went with a 842.1 and a 785.1, and just drop your right hides. As damping goes, I think I left it about stock. It's almost there, so I went with a 9.2, 8.8, 6.8, and a 6.6. If you guys feel like the car does do wide turns, I suggest dropping down your downforce, just like that. You cut that wind if you want, you know, while cornering. I left it maxed out because I had no problems with it. But like I said, if you guys do think it does wide turns, go ahead and just drop it down if you want until it's suitable for you. Another personal preference, brake and differential. You guys do what you guys want, up to you how you guys usually want your cars to be. But I optimized it where my balance is 59% and braking force pressure of 129. Differential, I try to act like if it was a rear, so for the front. I only added 11% for acceleration, and I dropped everything down for deceleration. And I added most of the power to the rear with a 67% and a 53%, with a balance to the rear of 63%. So guys, there's the build and tune. I hope you guys enjoy. This is just to get, you know, some tips for you guys wondering how to set up cars and stuff like that. Other than that, if you guys think you guys know how to do it, you know, go ahead. It's just to help you guys out to fix up your own cars, but go wild with it. So please guys, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, share the video, and thanks for watching.